Hey, Malgosia, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Um, this was an accident to wear this red, I swear.
I'm very Agnes, very Agnes.
Very Anya's. I was just putting hair product in my hair and I was like, oh gosh, I'm kind of bloody, not gonna lie. Sure. Um, Congratulations on the nomination. This is my favorite movie of 2025. I was at Telluride when it debuted. I was ugh, everything. I just rewatched the second half of it the other day, and I was still, man. I don't know if it's because like I'm a huge Shakespeare nerd. I was a theater kid.
Oh, amazing.
Um, I'm a huge costumes nerd. So first of all, well, I guess thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
Cool.
I love the movie, and congratulations again.
This is honestly it. I love the movie so much. So to hear you say that and to hear you connecting with it, it just like it does not cease to like touch me deeply. So thank you.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like there was a preciousness to this movie. Like it really felt. Um, I don't know. I've never seen anything like it in the way that Chloe and all the artists have talked about the movie. I feel like they're trying to get us as an audience collectively to connect with it in a deeper
Yeah.
way. So I appreciate that very much. Um, so in terms of like where you start with this, the thing that I love about costumes is that it's so tied to like the development of character. I feel like we we choose what we wear sometimes because of like the mood we're in or how we feel in our own bodies. A lot of times when I approach talking to a costume designer, I think about people's closets or how a character shops or where they get clothes. But I feel with Hamnet, it feels different because obviously things are people are making their own clothes, people are buying things in a completely different way. And I guess I wanted to know um because I kept thinking about like I love the costume design of expats. I think that's great costume design, and I can see all of those women shopping in different ways. But I guess I wanted to know how do you kind of think about costuming for this because it is such a specific time period and things like that. Yeah, just approaching.
So actually, in a weird way, this is funny that you mention expats because in a weird way they are very, very connected actually.
Mm,
I always start with I always start inside out. I always
hmm.
start try to create before I start researching the costumes or clothing or the period. I try to create a sort of emotional skeleton for the character, the way I
Okay.
connect to the character and the way I hope that or the way I assume the viewers are gonna get into them and
Mm,
see the characters and kind of create little emotional beats for myself
okay.
that then when I'm looking at the actual research, I can recognize that like, oh, we can use this element of Elizabethan clothing for this character because it has the emotional value that I already know on this like character skeleton that we're going to need this.
Hmm.
So it's, for example, it is the most kind of emphasized in Paul's looks because we had this idea of these, silent screams essentially that are growing and growing, the holes that are growing in his costumes throughout the movie until he cracks completely and washes the cracked clay off his face. But so that was the language. And then I was looking at the Elizabethan fashion and Tudor fashion and finding the what is called pinking of clothing, the slashes
Yeah.
in garments, and it fits so perfectly. And
Mhm.
so, so we could use the period correct garments, but to reflect the emotional journey of the costumes. And in expats, it was, there I don't want to get into it too much, but it was like the element of like wringing hands and like being like
Oh, okay.
just like keep and so in her costumes there was in Nicole's costumes there was a lot of that actually happening. There was this like things that were like twisted and uncomfortable and then
Yeah.
and so on. And so it is a similar thing that I always start with the emotion and then try to find the garments that would emphasize that rather than going the other way around. And I feel like if you're doing it this way, of course, everyone has their own process, but if you're doing it this way, for me, it means that it doesn't matter if we suddenly had to switch from, 16th century to 13th century or to 21st century,
Hmm.
these are still the same. So
Uh,
it's kind of, it's easier to find things that have an emotional resonance because you know what you're looking for.
yeah. Oh my God. You make even just hearing you. Oh my God. I mean, because the thing that I think that I one of the things that I responded to so much with this movie is just that Jessie is so she's so laid bare in completely different ways. And I thought that was something that I found so remarkable about her. Like I love that she doesn't look like anybody else. Like the near the beginning, after she comes inside and her family's sitting at the table, like the red that she's wearing, which I read a lot about some of the process of deciding
Yeah.
on the color red and why it was red. It was just so, and everywhere that she is, she looks, it's so individualistic and it doesn't look like anybody else. It just felt like red belongs to Agnes and in the way that Jesse interprets it. Um, I did want to ask about a variation of that red because one of my favorite um, moments of the film is when she gives birth for the first time. She's alone. I love that wide shot of her. Um, I don't know, the dress felt different to me than what we normally see her in for the rest of the film, if that makes sense. It like the last time I watched it, like her beautiful big pregnant belly from a distance, I was like, it kind of looks like a berry in the woods. Like I don't know, it was just so the connection to the earth is so deeply felt to me. Like it literally feels like Agnes's feet every time that she takes a step in the grass, like the grass almost covers her feet and she's like ripping her feet out every single time she takes a step. And I'm sorry, this is a long rambling question, but I guess that moment is so connected to the sounds and the feeling of the movie and the way that that dress is draped as she's like quite literally in pain and giving birth. I
Yeah.
guess I wanted to know what was important there. All right,
Yes,
long
is.
roundabout way.
No, I love it. And what you're talking about, her being so embraced by nature, it
Mm,
is super, super important to me. And this was she is a product of nature. She grows out of it. So she is so comfortable between the branches and the brambles and everything. So that is, I'm so happy you mentioned that. And so we started, and I've said this before, that the first time we see her in the woods, she is wearing a bark cloth bodice, so she is literally wearing tree fiber
when I
on her.
read that, I was like, that is
Yeah.
crazy to me. I love that so much. Okay, sorry,
Thank
go
you.
ahead.
This one, the birth moment, she is wearing, it's just a smock, so it's essentially the garment that everyone in the era wore. This was the first thing that was on your body, so she is essentially wearing a underwear,
Okay.
and other layers would come on top of it. But here it was, it was as if she like started getting dressed and she knew she had, because when we see her waking up that morning, she is in a nightgown, and then she puts on that first layer and she's like, she's got to go. There's no more time to put anything extra on. She just is like very bare and
Yeah.
very, like almost a skin to
Mm,
skin contact with nature. So it is, she's as naked as she can be without being truly, truly bare.
mm,
And so she is just in direct contact with nature there. And
yeah.
I love that moment. And it's so simple. It's just a simple smock.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels like almost I don't know, like the earth is gonna swallow her up a little bit. I don't know. It's just that's I just rewatched that moment last night and it was just like I've never seen anything like that. It's so simple yet so deep on multiple fronts. Um I want to ask about the kids if I could. One of my favorite moments is when they're playing a trick on Will, Judith,
Yeah.
and Hamnet. I love this is like my Shakespeare nerdery coming in. It's like it reminds me so much of Twelfth Night. It reminds me so much about all of the twins that Shakespeare's had in all of his works. But I like how for, correct me if I'm wrong, like the tops that they're wearing, they're like made out of the same material, but they're obviously cut
One is
differently.
horizontal. They're cut very similarly, but
Mm,
one is horizontal, one is vertical.
okay.
So it's kind of
Okay.
accounting for their physical differences. But I want to mention one thing here because obviously when we started, we were looking for identical, either for
Mm,
identical twins or for kids that were very, very similar. And actually, because of finding these two amazing young actors who are so physically different, it uncovered a deeper essence of their love to one another because they see each other as identical, even though the whole world can immediately tell them apart
oh yeah.
because they're so physically different. And so the fact that they think they can trick everyone, including death, is so beautiful to me that
Yeah.
they feel they are the same. And so I was trying to kind of balance their physical differences out with those, the little jerkins that they're wearing. Yes, it is an antique fabric that we
Mm,
found that is striped. And so one is vertical, one is horizontal. And then when we see them in their final scenes together, when they're in their nightgowns, the nightgowns actually have a window pane check. So
yeah.
those two, the vertical and the horizontal come together, and this is the last moment they're together, and they're actually dressed the same. But that moment when they're getting changed is so joyous and so beautiful.
Yeah.
And then we have Susanna who's like, how long are we going to play this game? Like everyone knows they're not the same. And yet it is so so beautiful and the parents going along with it. I
Yeah.
I absolutely love it.
There's a lot in this movie about the confidence that children have. It's
Yes.
that I talk about it all the time about how like kids aren't inhibited, they learn to become inhibited.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a really joyous thread there. I don't know, even like there's like I think I love the bonnet that Hamnet puts on. I'm a sucker for a bonnet. Don't know why. I just am.
Good
Um,
bonnet is a good
a
thing.
good
Yeah.
bonnet, yeah. I appreciate a good bonnet.
So
Um,
here it's not even a bonnet, it's called a coif.
oh, okay, a queef.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write that down. See, still learning so much
Yeah.
as I love costume. Um, so I could literally hold you hostage for like another 2 hours. But the question that I love to ask costume designers before I let them go is if you could steal something from your own designs of this particular project, what would you take? I will say something that I want, which is the most random thing. Um, when we are watching the play at the very end of the film, I don't know what the character is on stage. I think he's a jester of sorts.
Hmm.
He has sort of like the way that the curved hat on his head, there's like three pronged thing.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
want
Yeah.
that. I would
Yeah.
wear that to buy apples at the store. So I guess I wanted to know what you would take for yourself.
So the jester's hat and all of our hats were made by. I had an amazing millinery team led by Sophie Lamb, who
Okay.
made the wicked hat for Paul Tazwell. So we
Oh,
truly
okay.
the best artists working on it. Um, but I will say I have taken something.
I've never had anyone say that. What did you
I
take?
I took one of the plague masks.
Oh, they're so good.
Leather. We had our beautiful, beautiful leather costume props team. Tams and Lily White led our team, and she also made stuff for Wicked, including the slippers. She made or they made these leather masks, both for players on the stage, for the musicians, for the puppet players in London where Will watches the puppetry moment. But we see plague masks in the background there in London, and one of them has the super long beak, and it's made of leather, and you can wear it kind of like a baseball hat, and I kept it.
Hey, you can wear a baseball hat like 10 different ways. I'm sure you can wear the same kind of hat 10 different ways too. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank
Um, beautiful, beautiful work, and congratulations again. So thank you.
Truly, thank you, and thank you for opening yourself up to the movie and
Oh, thank
connecting.
you. Thank you.